The Grand Galactic Council had warned Captain Drill about humans. Everyone had stories about the Death Worlders, their endurance, their aggression, their pain tolerance, but nothing had prepared him for witnessing human recreation firsthand. The diplomatic mission had gone smoothly thus far. Captain Drill, representing the Unified Star Collective, had successfully negotiated trade routes with the human delegation aboard the neutral space station Harmony. The humans had been polite, professional, and restrained, nothing like the savage warriors of legend. On the final night, as was customary across the galaxy, the hosts arranged a cultural exchange. The human representative, Tom, had invited Drill's crew to what he called a celebration dance. The collective's intelligence brief described dancing as rhythmic movement for enjoyment, which sounded harmless enough. Drell and his 12-member security team entered the designated recreation chamber. The lights were dimmed, with colorful beams sweeping across an open floor. The air vibrated with sound waves that the translator identified as music, complex auditory patterns with fluctuating tempo and volume. "Welcome," Tom called out, gesturing to a table laden with refreshments. "The dance will begin shortly. Please make yourselves comfortable." Drell's second-in-command, Officer Nex, leaned close. They seemed normal enough. "Indeed," Drell replied. "Perhaps the stories were exaggerated." The chamber gradually filled with more humans. They mingled, consumed beverages, and engaged in conversation. Nothing concerning. Then the music changed, becoming louder with a driving, insistent rhythm that Drell felt in his thoracic cavity. "Now we dance," Tom announced cheerfully. What happened next would haunt Drell's dreams for cycles to come. The humans moved to the center of the room and began to transform. Their bodies contorted in ways that defied biological logic. They bent, twisted, and flung themselves through space. Some humans lifted others completely off the ground, spinning them overhead before catching them mere centimeters from catastrophic impact. Drell's security team instinctively formed a defensive perimeter. Officer Vin activated her emergency beacon. "Stand down," Drell ordered, though his own secondary heart had begun beating. This is cultural exchange. The humans showed no signs of distress, despite their bodies undergoing what appeared to be violent spasms. They smiled, laughed, and continued their frenzied movements. One human male rotated his entire body upside down, supported only by his upper limbs, legs cycling through the air. A female executed a series of rapid spins that would have destroyed the inner ear balance system of any collective species. "Captain," Nex whispered, voice quavering, "are they having seizures?" Before Drell could respond, Tom approached, face glistening with moisture. "Come, join us." "Hi. Our physiology," Drell stammered. "Just move to the beat." Tom demonstrated, bouncing rhythmically. "Anyone can do it." Two security officers backed toward the exit. Drell couldn't blame them. What the humans called dancing appeared indistinguishable from combat training, seizure activity, or death throes. Yet they performed these movements voluntarily for pleasure. On the dance floor, a particularly troubling display unfolded. A human couple had begun what the translator identified as breakdancing. The male spun his cranium, his most vulnerable body part, while his partner contorted into positions that would shatter collective exoskeletons. "Is this enjoyable?" Drell managed to ask, unable to tear his 4 eyes from the spectacle. "Of course," Tom laughed. "This is just casual dancing. You should see professional ballet or competitive gymnastics." Officer Vin fainted. The implications terrified Drell. If humans could casually manipulate their bodies with such strength, speed, and disregard for safety, what were they capable of in actual combat? The intelligence briefs had warned of human endurance and pain tolerance, but they had failed to mention this casual mastery of physics-defying movement. "Perhaps we should observe from here," Drell suggested diplomatically, mandibles clicking nervously. "Suit yourself." Tom rejoined the writhing mass of humans. For the next hour, Drell's team watched in horrified fascination. The humans showed no signs of fatigue despite exertions that would exhaust most species. They moved in patterns both chaotic and coordinated. sometimes in perfect synchronization with dozens of others, sometimes in wild individual expression. Most disturbing of all was their evident enjoyment. This wasn't an endurance ritual or combat demonstration. This was recreation, fun, pleasure. When the dance finally concluded, the humans showed minimal distress, just elevated respiratory rates and increased surface moisture. They chatted amiably, as if they hadn't just performed feats that violated several of Drell's understanding of biomechanical limitations. Later, aboard their ship, Drell composed his report to the collective high command. Diplomatic mission successful. Trade agreements secured. However, I must revise our threat assessment of humans. Their recreational activities exceed our combat capabilities. What they consider dancing would qualify as extreme physical conditioning in our military. Their casual disregard for gravitational limitations, joint physiology, and endurance thresholds suggests previously underestimated combat potential. They do not merely survive their death world, they have mastered it in ways we cannot comprehend. Recommend extreme caution in all future engagements. Drell paused, then added, additionally, decline all invitations to what humans call dance battles. They are not battles in the conventional sense, but the outcome would nevertheless be devastating for our forces. He sent the report, then reviewed the sensor recordings of the human dance once more. The collective had feared humans for their weapons, their aggression, their adaptability, but now Drell understood the true reason to fear them. Even their entertainment was terrifying.